Teaching children responsibility. 5 parenting tips. Are you ready for 5 powerful secrets that help to teach children responsibility? That is what we are doing today. My name is Nalin Morjaria. I am a psychologist working as a parenting coach. In my whole career working with families and kids, I've learned these 5 powerful secrets. The last 2 that we share with you will actually increase your energy. The first secret to teaching your child responsibility might seem a little strange. It is that being present and breathing is more powerful than shouting. In fact, shouting can be called a parental trap. When we shout at our kids, they respond immediately, but they may not learn the lesson or forget it later on. The problem with shouting from a psychology point of view is that our kids are learning all the time, and shouting does not automatically help them learn anything new. It scares them into compliance, and it is also sending the message, I am out of control and I don't know what I'm doing, which does not help. So, when we are present and silently breathing, your kids start thinking, wait, that's silent, what's going on? It gets them thinking, and thinking is what we want. Think, not fight. That's one of the things that we teach on our empowering training. We want them to think, not fight. We can encourage them to think by simply being present and breathing. What does it tell you if I say, you can put away the toys after playing, or they will be in the corner for 2 hours and you can exchange them for a house chore? Or after that, I give them away to a charity. Either way, it is okay with me. And I am present for you if you have any questions. Suddenly, they start thinking, should I have questions? What does mom know that I don't? It causes some curiosity, and that is what we want. We want them to think, not fight. Breathing is more powerful than shouting, and that is how we are going to get to responsibilities, by thinking. I said earlier that shouting is actually a fear mechanism, and it can become a compliance mechanism, not a learning mechanism. The second secret is, our children need to know that every choice has a consequence. What is the consequence of being organized? You get your homework done, you learn while you're doing your homework, and then build on that to learn more, and you feel good. What is the consequence of spending too much time on video games? You can't get your homework done, you struggle learning new stuff, and you get left behind in your class and you feel bad. Both of these choices have consequences, so every choice has a consequence. The better my choices, the better my consequences. If we help them see that consequences are tied to choices, then they start to mature by thinking, I am going to make some better choices, and so they are automatically learning responsibility. For example, let us say your child is not being able to catch the school bus because they got up late and didn't get to the student collection point in good time. You help them get to the public transport stop and let them take the public bus to get to school. When they complain, all you say is, I understand your frustration. If you like, I can help you to set up a system so you get up on time and catch the school bus. All they need to know, and all you need to do as a parent, is establish this. Every choice has a consequence. The better your choices, the better your consequences. And then throw in, any questions? Because then they're going to think about how to get to school on time, and that frees you up. When children start taking responsibility, we are simplifying things for them. Let's get to the next secret, which is kids only need to do 3 things to make their life work. That is, listen, think, and learn. When a child is having a hard time, they can learn to resolve their hard time by practicing listen, think, and learn. That's all they have to do. You don't have to remember anything else. Just listen, think, and learn. Because if you listen, you're going to hear important information. And then, if you think what you can do with that information and learn to implement it, you will be in control of your life. When you think about that information, you'll be able to work out your options, which makes it easy to choose or make good decisions. Every choice has got a consequence. Better my choices, better my consequences. If you listen, think, and learn, you are good. The next tip is for the parent. It is called, how am I showing up? Whenever you have any interaction with your child, ask yourself, by doing what I'm doing with my child now, am I getting them to think or fight me? Learn to ensure that every time you show up for your child, you need to get your child to think. It will help to build their sense of responsibility and help them grow in the process. This will get your child to listen without shouting. When you shout at your child, what are you inviting them to do? Fight, which is a natural biological response that gets triggered in their brain. It is called fight, flight, or freeze response. You as a parent can also get triggered into this response. Whenever somebody comes across in a way that scares you, that is, if you feel threatened, it stimulates your fight, flight, or freeze response. So when you shout at your children, it triggers chemicals in the brain that stimulates them to fight or run away or give in. So that is why shouting is so problematic. Being present and breathing is more powerful than shouting because it's inviting thinking. It invites thinking instead of fighting. Yes, that's a wonderful thing. So parents are probably best served if they spend their time and energy on consequences versus trying to make sure the child cooperates by shouting. Let's imagine that your child is talking back. Hold yourself from taking action until you understand what is going on by taking a deep breath. Try to understand what is going on by being present for the child and giving your child the space to talk. If you are struggling with how to understand what your child is saying, make notes and use your resources such as Google to understand it. Google it. Then go back to your child with your understanding. Explore where you go forward with your child by looking at options. Help the child choose an option that benefits them and your family long term. In other words, present yourself as a person who moves forward with thinking, not fighting. When you do this, you are in a very powerful position to work with your child and be an influential role model. If you have friends or other people who could easily use this video, please take a moment to share this video with them and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Can you see how the last one is going to increase your energy? We are getting 50% more energy because you are not fighting and you are using thinking to help you work out what to do with the information your child is telling you. This will help you give up fighting with your kids altogether. You can use all of that time thinking and just being the problem-solving person. There is more to it. There is another thing that will absolutely bring the energy back to you as a parent. When you see some children's behavior that challenges you, ask yourself, whose problem is this? Yours or your child's? If they are old enough to get up by themselves and they are late at school, whose problem is it? Your child's, because they have the responsibility to get out on time. If they miss the school bus, let them take public transport to go to school. You let them wait for the bus and see them get in, and then you can follow the bus in your own car to the school, but do not take responsibility for the child. If they agree to do some household chores at your family meeting and don't do the chores in the house, what happens? If you're constantly reminding your child to do the chores or the schoolwork or whatever, who has the problem? You have, because you call it reminding, but they call it nagging. So, you need to recognize that it is your child's problem and you have a role to help them take responsibility. So, stop nagging and start giving choices. What choices does the child have? They can do it themselves, or they can use their pocket money to get somebody else to do it, or they can get you to hire somebody to do it and pay them out of their pocket money. Whatever they choose is good with you. By doing this, you are shifting the worry and responsibility about doing the chore onto the child's shoulder. You are going to honor their choice to do the teaching. When you shift to their responsibility and their choices, it triggers the thinking, and then they are like, wait a minute, hold on, what consequences are going to happen as a result of my choosing this or that? And if you are detached from it as a parent, they get to take ownership, which is responsibility. That's how you are going to teach it. Hopefully you found that helpful. There are more helpful resources available for you on our YouTube channel. Check the links below.